Hi, and welcome to Jumpstart Your Motivation in 2022. We are so excited you're here and we're thankful you're here. I am Coach Marcella, and I'm going to be your coach facilitating this webinar today that hopefully can change, inspire, and make some transformation in your life. So, I'm going to do a little introduction of myself. Some of you do know me that's on the webinar or have been coming to some of my community social media events like a little cup of happiness. So thank you for being on here if you're with us. And if you're new, grab a pencil, grab your phone, your iPad, wherever you need to, and let's get into our webinar for today. So I'm hoping everyone can see my wonderful screen, and I am going to be going through a little mix, showing you a little bit about how to have 3 pillars in your day and how these can affect your life for not just your personal development, but your professional development, and of course, affect yourself and your family. But before we get into all that fun stuff, I just wanted to introduce myself a little bit more because a lot of you don't know me. So you got 2 faces here. You got my face, and then of course you have the slides. And I'll be doing a combo today. So if you're listening or looking to the replay, don't worry. We're going to be doing a mix of these so you can visually and audio hear. So I am Coach Marcella Misiano. I am the founder and CEO of Vivid Motivation. Of course, people always go, who are you? What do you do? I am a entrepreneur. I'm actually, a veteran or alumni of the world of small business. And I've done international corporate training, team building, and of course, running my own company for over 25 years. I'm a constant developer, people person, and developing my own teams and training them, motivating them, and making them the best people they can be. And how awesome is that? So as I go into a little bit of our housekeeping items, if you can try to turn off your phones. I know that's hard to do. It's hard for all of us in this crazy multitasking world, but at least put it on vibrate. Maybe if you can shut your door. I know a lot of us are, working from hybrid offices, home offices, many people have converted their garages into offices. So do the best you can to try to take some of the distractions so you can kind of be on the court with us, learning some of these 3 key pillars that can really change your morning routines, can help you with your anxiety or your overwhelm or your stress levels. And number 3, of course, talking a little bit about your mindset, which we'll talk a little bit toward the end, how to have that growth mindset, that positive attitude that you need to be a successful, fulfilled, and joyful and happy person. So people always ask me some of the things, who have you worked with? What have you done? My background, of course, is in family, sports, and recreation. I have a big background in hospitality, sales, and training, and of course, team development. So I love serving and helping and motivate and inspire people, also giving them tools that they need to have that success. So I'm going to take a little step back and talk a little bit about how life has been and how it can look when you're a person in the professional world or you're the executive in your family business, and that is just raising your kids or your senior family members that you're taking care of. Whatever your role is, things can get a little hectic. Things can get overwhelming and stressful. You can't get some of your tasks done. I've just want you to know I can relate to so many factors. Those factors of how can I be obligated to my family, my spouse, to my aging parents? How can I run my business, expand my business, work with my partners? How can I take more leadership roles in my organization? How do I move forward and make myself feel better and be better and want to be there and interact in my business or in the people that work with and around me? So when I'm going through some of these skills, it's because I have worked with multiple teams, not only my team, and trained and developed and used some of these tools and resources, but I've trained other companies and associations at the same time. And trust me, if you can just today take a few things away, I do feel like you'll be a little less stressed, a little a little less of the whole overwhelm. You'll have some tools and exercises you can do to make you have more time for those important things in life. And how awesome is that? We all want a little bit more time to do those joyful things we want. So I wanted to share this picture. I know it looks crazy. This was a time in my life where I was just started doing multiple businesses, trying to run my business, going out and traveling internationally to do training and motivation and bringing teams together in those team building interactive engagement programs. And I can tell you at one time I woke up and I didn't even know which way I was going. And there were things that were happening great and there were things that were falling through the cracks. Was I really there present for my family, and especially one of the main people, my spouse, my significant other, my husband, my parents, my sister, everyone was going through different things and I just couldn't get things organized. So over 20 years, I hope some of the pains and ups and downs and figuring things out to make my business, my personal growth better, to make those around me who work with me and for me happier and more secure and more successful. That's why I'm here today. That's why I love doing what I do. The company is named Vivid Motivation because we love color and inspiration, and I try to take you down a way of looking through a different lens of what you can be, what you're able to achieve, and show you some path and techniques to do that. So you're here through our webinar today, a little bit about, a cup of happiness. And I'll bring that to you, some more information at the end, as well as talking our next pillar. We're going to talk about our first one is going to be protecting your mornings, and we'll talk a little bit more in detail about that as well, because we have a more intense accelerated course for this that, of course, at any time you would like to look into that, we'll have that information for you, but we'll save that to the end because we are going to get power-packed information to you today on this webinar, because my objective is to make you feel a little bit more confident, give you some skills, help you protect your mornings so you can fuel your day, eliminate some of that stress and overwhelm. And of course, don't forget our mindset. So if you have a drink of water or you need to take a deep breath, we're going to go through this stuff really fast. I'd like you to stay hydrated and healthy. As you know, I worked in the family market. I'm a coach at heart, so I'm always kind of coaching and gearing people to take care of their well-being, their mental state, their physical state, and their happiness state. So taking a little water there. Hope everyone's doing that. Let's roll right into some of our three key pillars. And one is called protecting your mornings. So I'm a coach and a teacher at heart. So I love going through. I have my own little notes here as well. And I'm going to give you a few things you can do. I want you to think about what your morning looked like, what it looks like. And is it you're jumping out of the bed? Is it, you already feel like you've touched the alarm 3 times? Do you even have a routine, right? What are you doing in the morning to kind of get your first step off in the right direction? And that's, feeling good, making your mind think you can accomplish anything, making your body feel like that as well. So we're going to talk a little bit about protecting your mornings. And I'm going to give you some ideas and thoughts, but I want you to think a little bit. If you had 10 minutes and maybe even 20 or a little bit more, what do you think could help you set your day off right? Before you open that door to the bedroom or wherever, you're entering that world of the day, what are those key things that can help you? Is it something like, you physically need to do something in the morning? That could be something from, as you see in the slides here, taking a brisk walk. Or is it taking a run? Maybe it's taking deep breaths and doing a few yoga moves. I love doing that in the morning. The alarm goes off. I make a big point, not to really get into anything that's live on the phone, like news or all the texts and all those things coming in. I really try to not have that my first 10 to 15 minutes in the morning. And I suggest And I coach people to do the same thing because it's amazing how when you get up, you can refuel yourself quickly by taking deep breaths, thinking some positive thoughts. Some people, if you like to journal, or there's gratitude journals, there's motivation journals. Sometimes you just write it on a notepad next to your alarm clock. Another thing, sometimes, having just that 10 peaceful moments of having your coffee or your little cup of happiness, and refueling yourself to really get ready for the day. And, I like to also do a little coaching and training of a little tip and tidbit about seeing something that your brain connects to that tells you something like, today's going to be a great day. Maybe you're telling yourself because you've been procrastinating and you're getting down on yourself that maybe your sticky is like, I'm going to get my stuff done. I think, the funny sticky on the right. I love that one. Get your stuff done. Be kind. Don't give up. It could be just a smiley face if you want it. So these are just a few things you can do to create a morning routine. And I love the ones that says be yourself, because I can't tell you how many times people already start having negative thoughts before they've even had their first cup of coffee, or whatever their hydration is in the morning, or when they're taking their deep breaths, or letting those negative thoughts in, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. This is your protecting your morning time, because if you do that, you will see a change in how your day goes, how more fulfilled you feel, how more relaxed, how less stressed, how you're fueled for those that you love the most, which is in your household, those you enjoy working with and around. And how awesome if you protect your mornings and take that time. And I know it's not perfect, that you can't do 20 minutes every day, but I'm challenging you at least to do 10 minutes a day, to do something. Everyone's routine's a little different because we're all comes in different shapes, sizes, colors, personalities. If you're watching this webinar, you could be in a whole different time frame. But figure out, these are just a few ideas that have worked. I've worked with other teams, with my own teams and with other companies, that some of these little things can make a slight transformation or a slight adjustment into success, the fulfillment of your day, being a little bit more joyful, be a little bit more happy. And who doesn't like to be around people that have those attributes? So there's also things I like to do. For me, some people I put like girl power today if I'm really getting ready to do some coaching, or I've had a really intense week trying to get some major projects done. I just keep reminding myself, it's not just girl power, it's personal power as well. So I hope you can use some of those skills. And I'm pretty sure you're thinking right now, I could change a little routine. I could probably do 10 or 15 minutes of breathing or exercise. I could probably write myself a positive note. And it doesn't have to be on your mirror. It can be on your digital phone. You can also put a little alert to alert you in the morning saying, it's going to be a great day. I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to impact others. I'm going to have a smile on my face. I'm going to be happy, and I matter, and I make a difference in this world. So those are some great things that can help you as well to be that more powerful person in the morning. So protect those mornings so you can be a better version of yourself for the day. So here's a few other helpful tips. Like I reminded you about, avoid hitting the snooze button multiple times. I know everyone who's listening or watching is going, yeah, that's not easy. Trust me, it's just like any muscle. I coached swimming for over 20 years, from from little ones in diapers up to those in pre-team swim team. So it just takes a little practice and a little grace for yourself, when maybe for a whole month you've only hit the snooze button once, and then all of a sudden it's a Thursday and you've hit it 5 times. Just remember that is a-okay. Give yourself grace to say, tomorrow I'm going to change that action or that behavior. So just remember that, because we are the worst critics to ourselves. And then sometimes we say we're not, but deep down we are. So remember, don't let that negative voice take you 3 steps back. Let the positive voice move forward. Another one is, very important, not only about, practicing some of your morning routines, is also doing something active with your body. Even maybe it's putting, that 10 minutes of your favorite song on and, pumping it out, doing some stretches, getting oxygen into your body. And in our webinar that we go into a little more deeper, we talk a little bit more about this, the science and the health and the benefits of that. But today I just wanted to give you a little nugget about, get something moving. Even if you're brushing your teeth, you can do a few little squats or just take some deep breaths, anything that helps you get your morning started. Sometimes based on your personality, you might just want that 10 minutes of, something just even keel, just meditating and doing your own rhythmic type of meditation and positivity into your brain. And make sure you're breathing, because that is still a physical activity. All right. Well, I told you we're going to be going through a lot of different pillars. This is one of our pillars today. And of course, I'll tell you a little bit more at the end, a little bit about our accelerated course we offer that's a little bit more intense that we do for some of our companies and those we work with in my team. So let's go to our next slide. And I love this slide. I'm pretty sure you're looking at it going, okay, why does that person have different socks on? Well, I'm telling you that if you do not protect your mornings, which I know is important, and I know it is needed, and I'm here to help and serve you, and hopefully you can open your eyes and realize that if you don't protect your mornings, things like this could happen. And I'm pretty sure all of us who's listening or watching this webinar, or you're hitting that replay going, I felt that way, like I had different socks on. Maybe I even have put different socks on. Um, or even, a quick story is that I've even gone, multitasking, I didn't protect my morning. I didn't get my mindset. I didn't have that, hey, it's going to be a great day. I'm going to overcome any obstacles that come my way. I'm going to chuckle. I'm going to have a smile on my face, and it's all going to be okay. And when I didn't do some of those things in my routine, I actually did walk out of the house to a very powerful meeting that I needed to be at. And I had the shirt inside out. So when you kind of see this, just remember it is important to protect your mornings, because you don't want to walk out with, mismatched socks. Because even if the socks are resembling what the message behind this is that it creates a little chaos in your day. There's enough chaos going in your day. So if you take that routine and really focus on that and practice that routine muscle, you will have less opportunity to go out the door in different types of socks. So I hope you kind of got that fun analogy there. So let's move on to pillar number 2. And that is eliminating overwhelm. And people kind of go, what is, I always feel overwhelmed. Oh, I have multiple children. I'm trying to raise one child. I've got 3+ children. I'm a caregiver for my, aging parents. I have my nieces and nephews living with me. I have extended family. I have 2 jobs. I'm transitioning from a job. I'm starting a new company. I'm working from home, and now I have to do partial hybrid to my workplace and at home. We all have a lot going on in our life. And if you ever think about it, how awesome is that? Because that's what life is. It's about things happening and occurring and being present and being interactive and engaged with that world. That's called life. However, if we're trying to make sure you're having a fulfilled, successful, meaningful, and joyful life with a lot of happiness in it, then sometimes we got to use some techniques to do that. And I'm going to talk a little bit about pillar number 2, which is overwhelm, stress, and anxiety. So I don't want you to think like, well, everyone else seems to have their act together. They don't seem stressed. They don't seem overwhelmed. Well, in our country today, there's over 6.8 million people now who suffer with anxiety, wrapped around, stress and overwhelm. So, and especially, since 2020, there's a big uptick in the overwhelm feeling in our society. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to eliminate some of that. And you might be going, hey, I sometimes get stressed or overwhelmed, but not all the time. So these techniques can be used for if you're totally feeling overwhelmed and that you just can't put one more thing on your plate, or if you just want to decrease a little bit of that stress and have a tool that you can use to do that. And we call that our one of our brain dumps. And I'm going to show you the slide here. It's just a little slide. It's an exercise we do. It's kind of like two steps. One is we go through in our training a little bit about whatever you want to do, digital notepad, on a piece of regular paper, on a chalkboard, wherever you can, is that you just need to get all the stuff that you think you need to do, have to do, want to do, should do, forgot to do. I'm pretty sure that is definitely part of overwhelm, where you 5 minutes later, you forgot the one thing you just needed to do. We're going to quickly talk you through this because today our objective is that we get to know each other a little bit. I can hopefully coach and serve you where you can take some of these tools back to your personal and professional life and use them and engage them and try to practice some of those, because I want you to have a happier, more joyful and fulfilled life, because that's important to me. And I know it's important to you as well. So to do that, we're going to quickly go over the exercise. And like I said, I'm going to do a little hydration. Sometimes I hydrate, or I take a little sip out of my lemon and water. I call that my little gulp of happiness here. And we're going to talk about the brain dump real quick. So the brain dump is you're just going to think of anything you can, from I gotta paint the mailbox, to I've got to do my presentation, to I have to take the bed spreads to the dry cleaner. I need to fix that light bulb in the bathroom. Oh my goodness. I need to get my information into the accountant. I need to raise money for my business. I need to work on my resume because I'm ready to make a transition for my next career path. I need to get the kids picked up from soccer. I need to order the uniforms. And you can see where this can go on and on and on. So I want you to do this exercise. You might not be able to do it now, but you're going to be able to do it and replay this and just brain dump. Throw it all out there, no matter what you think. All right. So take a second. I'm pretty sure you're thinking of 20 things right now, right? I see some of you going, yep, I have way too much on my list. So you're going to brain dump it, and then you're going to put it in, I categorize it and then prioritize it as well, right? Because you're going to realize once you dump all that, there's a key tip I'm going to give you, right? I know you're like, what can help me? One is, once you get that all on your list, you're going to look at it. You're going to put like what's priority. And then you're going to look at the things that really don't even need to be on your list. You don't even need that on your list anymore. So get it out of your brain. You put it on the paper, get rid of it. Number two little tip is, once you do that, you'll go up and say, okay, well, these kind of are important. It's not quite moving my needle forward. It's not on the priority list, but I also could maybe get help with this. Maybe it's someone within your family, your organization, that you can either delegate it or you can get someone to help you with it. Okay, so that's an area that's important, because then your list starts getting lighter. And then we go through, when we do this exercise in more detail, we go through even categorizing and putting those top 3 to 5 things that are important for the day, and then making sure you have your week goal, your month goal, and your quarter goal. Okay, so just do those few things and you'll be, I'm telling you, just getting out of your brain. And maybe you have multiple things that look like this, right? I'm pretty sure all of our desk, we all come with different ways we organize. You've got the stickies here, or you've got your head going, okay, I can't even figure out my Google Calendar. I've got my planner. I've got 10 meetings. I don't know what to do. I have customers coming. I have to get dinner fixed. Oh my goodness. I've got to call the nurse for my parents because, they're getting up in their years and they need help. I mean, we all have that list. So now that I've just talked all about that, I'm pretty sure you're all like this. I want everyone to take a deep breath right now. Take a deep breath while you're in this webinar and then exhale. We're going to do it one more time. Take a deep breath and exhale, because we've all been there, and these little techniques will help you. And I've done it with my team over 20 something years, and I've fine tuned this, and we have tried it all different ways. And trust me, if you do the brain dump and you start scheduling out your tasks, you will feel like, two big weights have come off your shoulder. And I know that's important for everyone. So, and I also want you, before I show you how we move from that chaos, overburden, stress, don't forget that makes you a healthier and happier person. So don't forget that. That can make you a healthier and happier person. And a lot of times we forget, if we do these, if we protect our mornings and, we do our brain dumps and we categorize what's really important on our to-do list. What is moving that needle forward? Not just in your business, maybe you are in or you started, or maybe it's in your family life, your professional life, your community. So I know a lot of you are jumping in and on the webinar, so feel free to do a quick replay on any of this, but it is important, and I want you to have that. I've lived through some of those pain points, and I still have to coach and exercise my muscle on that. So I want you to envision real quick what it would look like if you did some of these. You protected your morning, you got all these things off your mind so you didn't feel that pressure and overwhelm, and felt a little bit more like you could breathe, less stress. Wouldn't that be great? I want you to take a second to think about it and look at these images. Time with your family, time with your kids, time with yourself. I'm pretty sure I'd love to go to that yoga class, or I'd love to take a walk. I've always wanted to go check out this new location in my town and a new state park. I wanted to have time with my aunt or my mother or my family, and definitely time for my extended family, which is our friends. It's important we have all that. So envision having more time for that, being less stressed when you're there, being present when you're there. I think that's such a key ingredient, and we forget that. We get so wrapped up in our world of chaos that we forget to really enjoy those moments. So I want you to envision that, because it's important. So I know I'm going to be staying on task, because I want to get everyone through this exciting and fun webinar, and try to get it all condensed into 45 minutes. So I appreciate you being with me and being present. It's really exciting to see you here. So to kind of wrap everything up, I call it like the circle, right? We've protected our mornings, and why it's important, and what are the benefits, and why we need to do that, right? How can it affect us, not just in our personal growth, but in our professional growth? And I call it our family growth, right? That means, those who we love and care for most is our priority. So we're going to talk a little bit about that growth mindset. And I think it's important as a coach and trainer that, we kind of understand a little bit more about what the growth mindset is. So take a moment to look at growth mindset on the left side, or based on the color. There's a green and yellow there, is a little very different than the fixed mindset. Can you see that there? So a growth mindset gives you the freedom. You persevere through failure. Hey, listen, we all get, as being a business owner and trying to start a business, and then also did another business in conjunction with a partner, it comes with a lot of perseverance, and not just in your own business, but in your department or organization you're working with and for. Another one is, let's talk a little bit about, the effort is required to build new skills. That's what you're doing today. You're building new skills, right? You're learning how to protect your mornings, and you've learned a few tips and exercises you can do to eliminate some of your overwhelm and your stress levels, so you can be more productive and happy and lighthearted and enjoy those things that are happening in and around you and with you and for you. So that growth mindset is really important. And it is the circle, protecting your mornings, eliminating overwhelm, and having the mindset. So you focus on that growth mindset is finding inspiration in others and success, accepts criticism and feedback, desires to learn. And that's why you're here today. You really have to sometimes just reflect on who you are, what you want to be, that version of yourself that you want to get to. We're all trying to grow and improve and be that best version of ourselves. And I'm glad you're here today to learn that with us. And then another one, keep building abilities. And that's what you're doing today. You're building those abilities to have the tools and the ability to have the tools and abilities and the practice to make some of those growth versions of yourself happen. And let's talk about the fixed mindset, right? If you're going to have two people you wanted to meet or go out with, or let's say you're back in the dating game, I'm just using this fun analogy, like, do you want to be with someone, or does someone want to be around? Just think about that in your business. Maybe you're, just a startup company right now, or maybe you've been in your department and with your company for a while. Maybe you are transitioning out and trying to find that new career step. And just think about who you want to be. Do you want to be that person that avoids challenges, ignores feedback, always has an excuse of like, oh, well, anybody's trying to give you any constructive feedback or input? Are you really putting those guards up? Are you threatened by others people's success? That's a fixed mindset. Desires to look smart. We've all been around individuals that, just feel like they need to do that. They're not really receptive. They're not authentic. They're not really there to be part of you at that moment. And then there's things like, it just gives up easily. Oh, that's too hard. I don't want to do that. And then they just have those fixed abilities. They're not here like you are today, trying to learn new skills and abilities, not only, for your own inspiration, motivation, but actual tactics that you can do to make you a more successful, happier, fulfilled, and moving forward person. So I wanted to make sure everyone understands the difference of a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. And I'm pretty sure if you're looking at what I want to date A or what I want to date B, I'm pretty sure 99.9% of us would say we'd like to be around and hang out and get to know that person who has that growth mindset. And we also, it's good you can migrate to that and you get with other people with that mindset. And it's just it's a rolling ball effect. And that is exciting. So I wanted to show you, as we get kind of down to the last 5 to 10 minutes of our webinar today, a few questions that we like to go through when we're doing some of our trainings and some of our workshops. And it's important that we ask ourselves questions. I talk about an avatar sometimes, right? You all probably saw that movie. I have to admit, I probably saw it like 100 times. But we're always trying to strive to be a better person, try to be a better version of ourselves, trying to be a little bit more confident, be a little bit more happier, be a little bit more loving to our family, be a little bit more approachable to and for others. So we have a daily check-in list, and this is just a little nugget I wanted to share with you today that you can actually take home with you. Yes, we've provided a downloadable document for you, and I hope you use those. I hope you use some of these things, from protect your mornings, using your brain dump and your checklist so you can have less stress. And I do hope that you'll have that growth mindset and that inspiration and possibility thinking in your mind, because you do matter. You make a difference. You can continue to improve and move forward, and hopefully with a lot more joy and a lot more happiness and a lot more fulfillment, and have an impact on yourself and those around you. So I wanted to leave you today, before we get into a little bit about our additional webinar classes and things that we will have available if you'd like, is take a chance to download the daily check-in. And I'm going to just pop it up here real quick so you can just see it a little closer. So the daily check-in goes into quite a few questions we'd like for you to use and answer for yourself. Like one of the number one questions would be, what was the biggest challenge I experienced today? Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just think about that. I know you might not be where you can write anything down. For those who did, take a quick 5 seconds or come back to this part of the training webinar and really think that through. So don't worry, you're going to have these downloadable. You can put all your notes on it. The next question that we use in our daily check-ins is, did I approach this challenge as an opportunity to learn and grow? Think about that, right? I'll do just a quick 30-second story is I had just promoted a new director, and she was going to be running a whole new facility with about 500 families and children participating in our kids programs, our aquatics, our events, our birthday parties, and everything. And I was speaking with her over the phone, and a challenge came up. And at that moment, I reacted instead of really listening to what she was saying, hearing the challenges she had, and I blurted out a few things that were not very constructive feedback. And the way that made me feel doing that and the way she perceived that was not very beneficial for either one of us. So I had to basically in person go over there. I had the opportunity within that week to say, hey, that wasn't one of my proudest moments. And that really wasn't how I wanted to have that conversation with you. And I was just honest and real with her, saying, I had a moment of stress and that didn't accomplish anything. And I didn't mean to put that burden of stress back on you. We needed to work together to fix this. And we came up with 3 or 4 ways within like 10 minutes of how to make sure some of those things didn't happen again. So to me, I just want you to know, I understand when things happen. They will. Just use some of these tools and questions to say, how did you learn from it? What could you do differently? And how would you grow? Another third question would be, would I approach the situation differently if confronted with the same problem again? And if so, how? So that leads me back into when I went over to the other facility, we actually took, like I stated, like 10 minutes to really go, hey, I owned up to it. I was accountable. That wasn't the right approach. This is how I would have, what I wanted to say and the purpose of it. And, what can we do differently to solve that problem? And that's not just in your business or, your department working for, that's in your family too. I'm pretty sure all of us have approached situations in our family. All right, we're going to go through these as well. 4 is another, what brought you the most of your joy today? Don't forget that question, right? Because we get so wrapped up in the things we got to do, have to do. You've even put it on your priority list. You've got all that stress out because you've dumped it all somewhere and it's out of your brain. But don't forget to remember that moment of what brings you joy. What was your gratitude? Was it your little one running in and calling you and hugging you? Was it someone that tapped you on the shoulder and said, hey, that was a great service your team provided for us? Any of those moments of joy, they can be small or they can be big. And the number 5 we lead into, because we're just about to the last 5 minutes of our time together today. It goes so fast, is where you're able to share a little cup of happiness for yourself or others. And at this point, I'd like to tell you a little bit about that question, because I wanted you to know that every week, if this webinar was great for you, and I hope you got something out of it, I hope it served you, even if it was a little bit of a ta-da moment, or I could do that, or I do need to come up with some type of routine. I do need to have brain dumps. Just don't do it once. You have to do it, usually either monthly or quarterly based on what your overwhelm load is. And then of course, talking about the growth mindset. So a lot of these things we cover: inspiration, motivation, joy, how to communicate, how to inspire yourself and others around you. We have that on our weekly cup of happiness. We call it our little cup of happiness. That's why I usually have a little cup of water, take a little gulp out of life and enjoy it and smile a lot. So I'm inviting you, if we've felt like you've enjoyed some of this, or we feel like we could keep serving you and you need a little jolt in the shoulder or a little tip or tidbit to keep moving your progress forward, or just to feel happy, I want to engage in our community, we welcome you and we invite you to our Little Cup of Happiness, which is on Wednesdays. You can find us on our Vivid Motivation page. You'll see myself up there quite a every Wednesday, if not even more, sharing some of our resources and information. So I just want to make sure you have that invite out. And for those who would like to go a little bit more into some of our training modules as well as some of our courses, I'm excited to announce that we're actually going to be rolling out, not just for the companies I work with and for, but it's available for you. It's going to be released coming up soon. So don't forget, if you'd like to be part of our accelerated Protecting Your Mornings webinar, feel free. You'll be able to fill out the information. If you're having any issues getting on to the fill out form or anything, just come to here, Vivid Motivation, on our social media sites, and you can direct message us. You can also send us a message at hello@vividmotivation.com. And I'm making sure if you can see the promotion, I hope you can take a chance to read that. We're going to be offering that just for those who are on our webinar and participating in our webinar. That's going to be for you. My thank you for spending your time. We're at about almost 41 minutes together, and boy, did it fly fast. It was so amazing. And I just hope you can have a little cup of happiness in your life. I hope we brought some value to your day. I hope that I was present and authentic, and hope you enjoyed some of my stories. I have plenty of more stories, so come on Wednesdays and come join us in our community. We are a community of progress and supporting and having that inspiration and motivation and working on our abilities to keep moving our needle forward, because I really believe each of us have the power to keep having updated versions of ourselves that impact not only us, but your family, your community, your business, your workplace, and the world as a whole. So thank you so much for being here. Once again, if you'd like to get any additional information about some of our upcoming webinars, as well as our Protect Your Mornings, it is just about to be released out to the public that I'd love to share. Please make sure you sign up for it. You'll see that information on the screen there. If you've got to jump off the webinar here in a minute, don't worry, come back to our social site, Vivid Motivation, and you'll have access to get to that. But don't wait. We'd love to have you join us on our intense webinar on our accelerated Protecting Your Mornings, where we really, really break down some of the science, the health benefits, the mental benefits, and more. So as I say on my Wednesdays, as we're here at the final hour, I really appreciate you. I'm Coach Marcella. I wish each and every one of you a little cup of happiness, lots of love, lots of joy, and may your life be full of progress. And I'm going to sign out for now. Bye, y'all. Have a great one. See you.